Last year, President Obama's speech to the United Nations was full of promise and determination to advance Palestinian statehood through negotiations with Israel. This year, the address was about lowering expectations and a dispiriting realpolitik as the president spoke of how peace is hard and vowed to veto the Palestinians' bid for statehood if it came to by a Security Council vote. Mr. Obama had no choice but to stand by Israel, this country's historic ally, and we agree that a negotiated deal is the only way to ensure the creation of a visible Palestinian state, guarantee Israel's security, and build a lasting peace. But there should be no illusions about the high cost both Israel and this country will pay if this stalemate is allowed to drag on any longer. There is plenty of blame to go around. The main responsibility right now belongs to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, who refuses to make any serious compromises for peace. He appears to be more concerned about his own political survival than his country's increasingly difficult isolation or the threat of renewed violence in the West Bank and all around Israel's borders. The Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who is understandably frustrated, has forced a process that holds high risk for him as well. The bid to the United Nations is highly popular among Palestinians, but he may find it hard to contain their disappointment when it becomes clear that maneuvering in New York cannot deliver a state on the ground. President Obama and his aides have misplayed the diplomacy from the state. They promised confidence-building measures they couldn't deliver and lost sight of the bigger deal, but we are sure there can be no solution without strong American support and leadership. What happens now on Friday? Mr. Obama is expected to submit an application for statehood to the Soviet Security Council, triggering a review process with no definite timetable. Washington hopes this will buy time to get the two bodies into substantial agreement and harmony. The United States and its aides are going to have to be ready to push both the Israelis and the Palestinians hard. After months of talking, the so-called quartet, the United Nations, the European Union, NASDA, and Russia, and the United Nations, still has no agreed on a set of negotiations, guidelines on her borders, security, refugees, and Jerusalem. There is no mystery to what a final deal would look like, just a lack of political courage to push it to the end. What has changed since 2008 or 2000 for that matter, to make anybody think that the Palestinians are now ready to end this conflict? Serious peacemakers must confront the litany of evidence that even the so-called moderate Palestinian leadership is not committed to a real two-state resolution.